Y'all, so I woke up and decided I wanted to apply my cluster lashes that I got off of Amazon for $13.99 and give y'all a story time on how I caught my baby daddy cheating with our neighbor and he got in a whole relationship with her. Now, for context, before I even start this, me and my baby daddy are no longer together. We have not been together in a long time. And this is going to be kind of a long story. So if y'all want part two, let me know at the end. So basically, me and my baby daddy, we were living together and we were not on in the best like space, and we were living in a duplex. Now, next door to the duplex, there was this girl that lived with our neighbor. So she wasn't actually our neighbor, but she lived with our neighbor. Now, in these duplexes, there was a set of two duplexes. So that means that there is four apartments. And we kind of stayed in the hood at the time because we were not like financially stable like that. And basically, I was going to work every day, and he was at home being a babysitter for the son that we have together. Now, I did have other kids prior to him, but they were in school. So basically, I would go to work every day and I would come home, and there was this girl that they would be outside, like they would hang out together. Not him and the girl, but like the complex, the four apartments, they would go outside together. They were not working. So basically, they would party every night. They would throw parties. They would have parties. My baby daddy would be included, but I'm not the type of person that like to go to block parties or do stuff like that. Like, I'm an introvert. So once I got off of work, it was just like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going in the house. I'm not gonna hang out with y'all. Y'all don't have to get up in the morning. They would be smoking and drinking, all of this stuff. So the girl started to, on the weekends, because I was off on the weekends, she started to like come to my house. And she knew that I would be tired, so she would be like, hey, can I take the kids to the park? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. Like, it wasn't a problem. She was kind of like one of those troubled girls that you wanted to take up under your wing. So I was like, yeah, sure, you can take them to the park. And this went on for like weeks. She just wanted to take my kids to the park. She wanted to do stuff with the kids. So I was fine with that. And let me know if y'all want a part two to this story, because I'm going to start it over and y'all let me know. These are 20 so far. I have not added the second row to it. So in the second part, I'm going to go ahead and add the second row to it. But as y'all can see, they look full already. And I've only did one row. And I started with 20. And I'm going to put 18 in the corner of my eye. So this is part two. So part one, I was just letting y'all know how, we stayed next door to the girl. She would come and ask, she started to come and ask, can she get my kids? So I have and I was like, yeah, cool. Now the problem was, every time that my baby daddy would come around, she would act like mean and rude and like she didn't want to be around him. So I have this cousin, well, she's my cousin-in-law, that I'm really, really close to. And I would say, in-law, I just going with a woman's intuition. I would be like, in-law, I really think that such and such and my baby daddy is messing around. So I had this gut feeling for a while. So she was like, no, in-law, I don't think that he would do that to you. And I'm like, this girl just acts so weird. Like, she would come to my house and she would be all nice. She would try to, come get the kids, ask, can she take the kids here? Can she take the kids there? But when my baby daddy came around, she was mean as hell. Like, and again, she was somebody that you would want to take up under your wings, because you could tell she was misguided in life. So I'm like, okay, maybe he will not do me like this. Like, maybe, like I said, me and my baby daddy was not in a good space. So I had a 3-bedroom. I had an extra room at the time, and he was in the extra room. So we were not even on terms where, okay, we're having smacks, nothing, none of that. Like, it was nothing. Like, we were not dealing with each other, but he would not leave my house. So if you want to stay there, you're going to do something. You're going to be the babysitter. It was kind of one of those things that I don't feel like he wanted to do right or change his life, but he didn't want nobody else to have me. So he wouldn't leave, and I couldn't make him leave because in the state of Florida, you have to evict them. And again, like I said, we were not in the best place financially, and he had got his probation signed to my house. So when I was calling his probation officer, she was like, I can't make him leave. There's nothing I can do unless there's some type of abuse going on. Now, he knew how far to take it with the abuse. Like, he would do stuff like come in my room and stand over me at nighttime, shit like that. But he would never touch me, like, in order for there to be any bruises or nothing like that. He wouldn't do that. But anyways, back to this girl. So she would ask all the time, can she get the kids, la 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 la, all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, sure. I started to ask my in-law, do you think anything going on? She was like, I don't think, like, Market, your baby daddy is like really obsessed with you. I don't think he'll do nothing like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I'm just overreacting. One day, this is when I had Facebook, because I haven't had Facebook in maybe like, it's been about 8-9 years. But when I had Facebook, I get a message. Now, you know, if you don't know somebody, your Facebook stuff go to a request box, or that's how it used to be. I don't know if it's still like that. I get a message, but the message is from his homeboy. So the homeboy texts me, and he was like, hey, now, mind you, this homeboy had already been trying to talk to me prior to, so I'm thinking this is what he's writing for. And he was like, hey, I need to holler at you. So I'm like, you don't need to holler at me by nothing. Next part. So like I told y'all in the second part, basically the homeboy ended up telling me he had something to tell me on Facebook. So I'm like, okay, what is it? Because at first I didn't even want to hear what he had to say. So he like, oh, he messing with that girl in your house while you be at work. So I'm like, I had already had the intuition that this was going on anyway, so it was believable. So I just went to my baby daddy. He was in the other room, and I said, hey, you messing with this girl? So he was like, nah, that ninja line. He just want to be with you, and he owe me money. That's why he telling you that. So I said, so he owe you money, so that's why he is telling on you? That don't even make sense. I said, but I want you out my house. So he was like, oh, I'm not going nowhere. So I ended up calling his PO, and I'm like, hey, how can we get this ball rolling with getting him out of my house? So she is like, well, the only thing that you can do to get him out your house is if he violates the terms of the probation. Other than that, in order for him to move, if he wants to go, he can, but it has to be approved. He can't just leave and change his address. So I'm like, okay, so pretty much I'm stuck with him. So I asked her a question. I said, well, woman to woman, what are his terms and conditions of his probation? Because you know what I'm going through, but legally there's nothing that you can do about it. So she was like, well, he can't be on drugs, which he knew how to pass a drug test, so that wasn't nothing. She was like, oh, he can't be around any weapons. I'm a smart gal. So I'm like, oh, okay. At this time, I didn't have a pew-pew. I wasn't licensed or anything. So I'm like, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a pew-pew, and I am going to call her and let her know that I have it. So I went to the class. They had a class coming up that month. I went to the class. I went and bought a pew-pew, and I let her know I have one. Change his address now. This was like maybe like a week at the end of that month. So yeah, I ended up getting him out of my house. He wasn't there anymore. He ended up actually going to be with the girl. So even though she was next door at the neighbor's house, she ended up leaving because her and the neighbor had got into it. So she ended up leaving, and once he left, he decided that that's who he was going to be with. So that's what he ended up doing. But this is how my lashes turned out, y'all. I am going to seal them. They're still kind of wet. I got my fan. I'm trying to decide if I want them thicker or not. I am not going anywhere at all. But I just took my my install out because I'm getting braids again next week. So I took them out so I can go ahead and save my edges for my braids. So my hair is not done. So my motto is, if your hair not done, your lashes need to be done. So in this part, I just wanted to answer some stuff that y'all are asking, or some stuff that y'all want to know in y'all head, because that was like really quick. And I hate long dragged out story time, so I just posted all of the parts. But I wanted to answer some stuff for y'all. So what happened to the girl is one that I know y'all want to know. At the time, I did not know that they were going to be in a committed relationship. I did not know that. Once I got him out my house, in my head, didn't think he was going to leave my house and be in a relationship with her. But they ended up being in a relationship. How I found out that the relationship came about is basically I was getting phone calls, like somebody was calling my phone private all the time, day in, day out. They would not stop calling. And at this time, there was no do not disturb. So I would get prank phone calls all day long, all day long, all day long. So, but what I will say is sometimes they would call private, sometimes they would call straight through with a number. But it wasn't like an iPhone, so it was, and it wasn't a text now number, but it wasn't an iPhone, it was just an Android. So I never tried to figure out who it is until one weekend they was calling like back to back to back, and they would not stop calling my phone, but they were calling with their number. So I went to my neighbor. Oh, she was like, oh, I'm coming over there to fight you about my man. La, la, la. I'm like, what? I ain't even talking to nobody at this point. So what is you talking about? But again, I don't catch the girl voice over the phone. I went to my neighbor house that stayed next door that she lived with. Remember, they got into it, but she was living there. And I said, call this number, because I'm trying to figure out who is this calling my phone saying that they want to fight about a man that I'm not even talking to no more. I don't know who man. I don't know what man you talking about. So she called the number. She looked at her phone. She said, this number pop up in my phone. This such and such, which is the girl. So I'm like, oh, wow. He really in a relationship with her. But anyways, that's how I ended up finding out that they were in a relationship. Y'all, that was long and dragged out, like with the situation with her. We got in a fight. This girl flat my tires. Like, this girl was harassing me every chance she got. Like, and I'm not a confrontational person. I'm a person that I'll stand my grounds, but I'm not a confrontational person. She would come to my house and she would flat my tires, but let me know if y'all want the story behind all of that. That's other drama. Smile. Well, since y'all asked, I am going to give y'all a story time on how I had to put my baby daddy girlfriend in jail. If you haven't watched how I found out that he was messing with our neighbor, go back and watch those parts. So basically, this is like 6 months later. They decide they're going to be in a relationship. I'm not a bitter baby mama at all whatsoever. So I was okay with it. Was I in my feelings? Was I hurt? I was only in my feelings because it was our next door neighbor. But I wasn't in my feelings because I was still in love with him or anything. I had done closed that chapter. You know, I moved on way before then. So basically, the girl went downtown and told the judge that I put a pew-pew out on her and her daughter. So, well, she filed a restraining order. The judge granted not the restraining order, but the court date, because there was a pew-pew involved. So when we got to court, the judge was basically like, what is going on with the situation? And she was like, I'm gonna tell y'all exactly, like I said, she's a person that you could tell she needs guidance, and she didn't grow up right. So she was like, your judge, your honor, these are to her exact word. Your judge, your honor, I don't know this girl from the Adam or the Eve. And she came up here and she pulled a pew-pew out on me and my baby. She put the pew-pew out on us. Lock up, judge, lock up. Mind you, it's me and my friend
in the courtroom, and we trying so hard not to laugh. So the judge was like, you know what is going on? She asked me my side of the story. So I went up there and I'm like, listen, the day that she's saying that I pull a pew pew out on her is the day is my gun, my pew pew got stolen. So I'm like, so there's no way that I would have been able, and she described the same pew pew that I had. So I said, there's no way that I could have pulled it out on her. So I showed the judge the paperwork because I had to file that it was stolen. And the judge was like, I should lock you up. The judge told her, I should lock you up for coming in my courtroom and filing false charges. But leave her alone, talking about me, and I want you ladies to leave the situation alone. We leave. Okay, come back for part 2 so I can tell y'all what happened. Okay, y'all, so this is part 2. So I need y'all to engage, follow, like, all of that to get all of the parts. There might be 1 or 2 more parts to this. So anyways, the judge throws everything out, and we get ready to leave. Me and my friend leave the courthouse. We're walking to the car. She has to catch the bus. My baby daddy is calling me on the way to walking to the car. And he's like, hey, what happened in court? So I tell him what happened. He was like, man, I told that girl not to even show up with dad, all of this stuff. So I'm like, whatever. Like, I ain't even trying to carry on or go back and forth with him. So he like, oh, what you finna do? I said, well, I'm finna drop my friend off, and I'm about to take the boys to get a haircut. This was 2 days prior to Thanksgiving. So he like, oh, come get me. I got my baby too, which is his oldest son. He was like, I need to get him a haircut too. Again, like I told y'all, I'm not a bitter baby mama. I'm all for healthy co-parenting. So I was like, okay, cool. I said, but I'm not meeting you at her house. You have to walk to Jarro's, which is, it was like 5 minutes walking distance in order for you to go with us. So I get to, now from the courthouse to where where the Jarro's was about 20 minutes. So I said, I called him when it was like 7 minutes left, and I was like, hey, y'all can start walking. So he was like, okay. I'm sitting at the Jarro's waiting on him. Y'all, tell me why the same time I'm sitting waiting on him at the Jarro's, the bus pull up in front of the Jarro's. And she walking home, see him getting in the car. Y'all, she started blowing his phone up. Now, we was not alone. It was not just me and him and the kids. It was my friend in the front seat, my two kids in the back seat, his son in the back seat, and him in the back seat. So he was in the back with all of the kids. Oh, she started blowing his phone up. Oh, F this, F that. Come get your stuff out my house. La 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 la. Come back for part 3 so I can tell y'all how it got good and things just went down. Okay, so this is part 3 on how I had to put my baby daddy girlfriend in jail. So basically, she is blowing up his phone at this point in time. She will not stop calling. She keeps calling. She's telling him that she's going to put his stuff outside. So if you know anything about, if you have boys and you take them to get a haircut frequently, then you know right before the holidays, it is always crowded in the barbershop. So I'm like, hey, listen, I have to go. Like, are you going to take MJ or not? If you're not going to take, I didn't mean to say his name, but if you're not going to take your son, then I am just going to go take my kids. So he was like, I'm going to take him, chill. Wait right here. So I was like, okay, cool. His son stays in the back seat with my kids. So me and my homegirl in the front, and we just talking about what happened in court. We kikiing. Before I know it, 10 minutes had went by. So I'm like, where is he at? So I was like, okay, I don't know what he got going on, but me and my homegirl, we start scrolling IG. We just sitting there talking. But then we noticed 20 minutes later, now this is 30 minutes now, he's not back. And I'm just sitting outside of Jarro's with my kids and his son in the back seat. So I start calling his phone. He's not answering the phone. I had my friend to start calling his phone. He's not answering the phone. Then the phone started going straight to voicemail. So I'm like, what in the heck going on? But being I know their relationship, they were fighting. So I tell his son, I asked his son, I said, hey, at the time his son had to be at least like 10, maybe 9 or 10. So I said, hey, do you know where she stays so you can walk up the stairs? Now I knew what apartment she stayed in, but I didn't know what door. So I'm like, do you know what door she stayed in so I could drop you off? My intentions was never to, like, I just wanted to drop the little boy off so I can be going about my business. So he says, yes, ma'am. So I said, okay, I'm not going to go upstairs with you or none of that. I'm just going to drop you off in the building, before her building, and then you can walk to her apartment. He said, okay. I drop him off. And as I'm dropping him off, y'all, they coming outside down the stairs. His shirt ripped, her wig pulled off. She walking outside with no shoes on. His knuckles bloody. So y'all already know what went down in there. But come back for part 4 so y'all can see what went down between me and her.
Hey y'all. Okay, so this is part 4 on how I had to put my baby daddy girlfriend in jail. Like I told y'all before, I am not a bitter baby mama. I am the cool baby mama. I'm the baby mama that everybody get along with. Y'all see, after I done found out that he cheating with this girl, I done found out that they're a couple. This is only 6 months later. And she done lied on me, and she was just cuckoo in the head, and I did not want this boy at all. After all of this, I'm still like trying to co-parent with him. They coming down the stairs looking like Ike and Tina done beat each other ass. And so now she want to fight some more. She want to act like a Tasmanian devil. She want to act like she just got let out the freaking zoo. So they come downstairs. He's walking before her. Now, like I told y'all in the third part, I was dropping the son off. That's the only reason why I was going over there. And I wanted to make sure that the son made it upstairs safely, because obviously his damn daddy didn't give a damn. So as they're coming down the stairs, the son is getting out the back seat. He's exiting the driver's side because my youngest son was like 1 at a time. And his car seat was in the back, in the passenger seat, which my friend was in the passenger seat. So I say, hold on. I said, hold on. I told him to hold on. Don't get out, because again, I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is they was coming downstairs from beating each other up. So he comes around the car. He walked down the stairs. The stairs is going to be on my right-hand side. So he walks down the stairs. He comes around the car as if he's coming to the driver's side, and as he's coming down the stairs, she is at the passenger window. So I'm getting ready to back out. I'm like, I'm finna get ready to go. I was just dropping MJ off like that. That's what I yell out the window. He stood in front of the back of my car. Now he is pretty tall, and he stood right there. And there was like no way. I was in a parking spot, so there was no way for me to like pull forward. I can only pull backwards. He says, you might as well get out and fight her now. Mind you, 2 of his kids in the car. That's what this ninja told me. Y'all come back for part 5. But like I said, I need y'all to engage, like, share, comment. I ain't giving y'all all the parts if y'all don't engage with me. Okay, so like I told y'all in part 4, he told me I might as well get out and fight. And I'm like, fight, ninja, for what? I don't want you. What exactly am I fighting for? If it's not about my respect or my kids, I'm not gonna get out there in the streets and ball down. And at this time, she stayed in the hood, y'all. So the hood, everybody in the hood started coming out. They surrounded my car. I don't know who is who. He's still standing behind my car, so I can't back out. So I tell my friend to start recording on her phone. So she's just, the girlfriend is banging on my window with her cell phone. Like, boo, boo, boo. So I thought the window was going to shatter. My son was like literally right behind my friend in the passenger seat. So I told my friend, let your window down, because if it shatters, it's going to shatter all over you, all over her. My friend said, F that. I'm finna get out and fight her. So I'm like, no, you're not. You're not finna get out and fight her behind somebody that I don't even want. Like, I don't want him. I don't want nothing. Like, fight her for what? I'm not gonna. And my friend had a good government job, so I was not gonna let my friend lose her job behind somebody that I don't even want, that I don't even care about. So my friend let the window down. When my friend let the window down, y'all, this girl spit in my car. Now, the spit did not land on me or my friend. And again, like I told y'all, my friend was recording. Come back for part 6.
All right, I hear y'all. I'm coming, y'all. I got you. So first things first, I'm a person with short attention span, so I didn't know that y'all wanted longer videos, but y'all, I am at work. I'm on break right now, so I've been trying to get y'all the parts as fast as I can, but I have my kids home now and I'm on break right now at work. So I am going to give y'all this part. This is part 6. Now, what I want to start part 6 out by saying is this girl was out on bond for busting out my baby daddy mama house windows to her house. So she was already out on bond. So when she spit in the car, it triggered me really bad. So my first thing was, I'm finna get out the car. But my friend started like pulling my shirt on the back of me or whatever. And she was like, no, you're not finna get out the car. You just told me I'm not finna get out. So you're not finna get out. You got to remember your kid's in the back seat. So if anybody gonna take the fade, it's gonna be me. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. Now, mind you, when we rolled the window down so the window won't shatter on my friend and my baby, that last time she hit the window, when we rolled it down, her phone flew in the car. So when her phone flew in the car, my friend's phone fell too. So that's when she spit in the car, just to give y'all a little bit of context behind that. So she said, I'm finna call the police to tell them y'all came over here trying to jump me. So I said, do what you gotta do. By this time, my baby daddy is not standing in the back of the car anymore. She runs to her leasing office and go get over there they have security guards. So she runs over there and tell them, oh, they trying to fight me. They came over here to jump me. Mind y'all, I told y'all that we went over there to drop the son off. Y'all know this. So my baby daddy's standing his weak behind right there, not saying nothing at all. Long story short, y'all, she called the police. We on the phone with the police. When she called the police and we on the phone with the police come in like 5 minutes, but she telling the police like we trying to hurt her. She's screaming, like she's literally screaming. The security guard that's over there in the apartments is telling us that we have to leave. And I'm like, sir, I'm not going nowhere until the police get here. She said that we stole her phone and we was trying to beat her up. So police come, y'all. When the police come, they get her side of the story first because she ran to them like she was in distress, like she just got beat up. Well, she did just get beat up, but not by us. Y'all, the police can't come and say, we need to take y'all side of the story because one or both of y'all gonna be going to jail. So I'm like, hold on, we ain't going to jail. We ain't did nothing wrong. Oh, they was like, so what are you doing in the apartments? What are y'all doing in these apartments? So it was 2 men officers at first. They called out a woman officer. So at this point, I know that men officers cannot arrest women. So I know somebody's going to jail because they call a woman officer out so she can search one of the girls. I already know how that goes. Come back for part 7 because I got to go back from break, y'all. Like, share, engage. Part 7 might be the last part. I think that's going to be the last part. If y'all have any questions, ask me, ask away. Y'all, I am trying to follow as many people as I can back, but TikTok is tripping, saying that I'm following too many people. Y'all giving me the business in the comments. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm working. I know they short. This is the last part. So, like I told y'all, I kind of figured that one of us was going to jail because the police really didn't believe me and my friend at first. But they didn't believe us because I guess we came over there and she was the first one to talk to the police. So, as she the first one to talk to the police, she give her statement. My baby daddy standing his tall, linky, good for nothing behind right there. and just not saying nothing. So the police is like, we're not gonna take y'all word for it because y'all are at her residence. And on top of that, the security guard was in the background just basically saying that we were over there to fight. He didn't know what was going on. All he knew, it was commotion. She didn't get him into after the fact. Y'all, so the police officer, the woman, ended up asking us for, they were asking us for her phone. Again, like I told you, her phone flew in the car. As we go get her phone from the car, my friend realized that her phone was going the whole time. So it was recording the whole time. So I'm telling the police, like, we got evidence that we didn't come over here to fight. We got evidence that she was the aggressor. So the police took the phone, and it was a captain, the police, and I'm not sure who the what type of officer the other officer was, but it was one woman and two men. I know one was a captain. So she took the phone and went to go talk to them. I'm asking my baby dad, like, you really gonna sit here and not say nothing, not try to take up for me, not try to defend me, none of that. So he was like, I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Long story short, the police end up reviewing the video, and they handcuffed her and let her know that she was going to jail. Now, a lot of y'all ask, why did I put her in jail that long? I didn't put her in jail that long. She put herself in jail that long. She was out on bond for busting out my baby daddy mama windows, and she was out on bond. She was out on bond for like 2 months after this happened. Now, what I will say is, when she got out of jail, y'all, she flat all my tires. The same night she got out of jail, she did not spare me. She flat all my tires. But that's the end of the story, y'all. I got a lot of messy stories, so y'all let me know what y'all want to hear next. Love y'all.